Oh, hey, Blickaflodian. Well. R.I.P. to Tiny Chef. Well. We got the sneak peek for the big surprise Ironheart update, or Ironheart mini mid-month. However, there actually is more to this than I thought, and I was wrong, which I'm super happy to be wrong about. You know, prepare for the worst, hope for the best kind of vibes. And the reason why I'm wrong is because I predicted, and a lot of people thought, that this would just be a one-character mini mid-month, right? Just like Bishop we got last week, we're going to just get Ironheart by herself and another 2 weeks of snoozing. Anywho, let's take a look. This superhero, who has built her own high-tech suit at the age of 15, is ready to fight. Join the fight once again, the brilliant young inventor. And we know that's sort of Riri Williams' backstory. She kind of takes over for Iron Man in the comics, and she's got her own thing here now from the movies, and now with her own TV show. Check out the new look and abilities. So that's a new uniform and a tier 4, which is amazing because Ironheart is an insane lead/support. People forget. Such a good support. Check out the new look and abilities of this hero, who helps battles with her brilliant engineering. Thank you. Now, guys, unless they made a horrible mistake, the fact that they said learn more or you know, find more details in the patch notes to come, the fact that that's missing means there should be at least one more sneak peek. Yes, we're not just getting Ironheart. Hallelujah! Praise be to Tiny Chef. So that's awesome. At this point, we'll take anything we can get, folks. Yeah. After going through a one-character mid-month 3 or 4 times this year, I'm ready to blow my brains out if we get another one. So I don't really want to do that. I like my brains inside my skull. So I'm just, you know, fingers crossed we stop getting one-character updates or mid-months, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so this is nice. This is nice. So this is pretty exciting. This is pretty good. Yeah, on Twitter, they just said that genius inventor Riri Williams is determined to make her mark on the world. She's ready to pick suit back up and rejoin the battle because she hasn't had a uniform since, I believe, Wakanda Forever, or yeah, I think it was Wakanda Forever. I should have checked ahead of time, but yeah. So Wakanda Forever was the last time she got a uniform. So that was what, like 2022, 2021, 2022. I actually can't remember at this point, but yeah, it was in like November. It was when, I believe it was when Namor got his uniform and his tier 4, and Shuri got the, maybe Shuri didn't, maybe they waited. I feel like they waited a long time to give Shuri this uniform. I can't remember, but yeah, it's when Namor got this one, and everybody was focused on Namor because he was pretty lit, but they forgot how insane Riri is. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Blast lead, like a better version of Star-Lord's lead, or old Ancient One's lead, but it's really the uniform effect. 25% ignore dodge and 35% increased damage to boss types. Very, very potent for PvE content. So cannot wait to tier 4 Ironheart Riri Williams. Should be very nice. Now, quick little PSA for you guys. The rest of this video will contain some spoilers, okay? There will be some spoilers in the rest of this video because I want to talk about the show. I haven't seen the show. I do want to see it. I'm still working my way through Andor, so I know it's not Marvel. I got to get through Andor, and then I can do this. I didn't even finish watching Daredevil. It was so bad, so I don't have, like... Listen, I don't have a hard-on for Marvel content, and I don't have a hate-on for Marvel content. But what I've seen from Ironheart in passing has been good, has been promising. So I do want to actually give it at least a couple of episodes. There's only 6 episodes, and 3 of them are already out. So apparently the show will already be fully out by the time the update comes out, which I didn't know, but that's kind of crazy. So yeah. Now, yeah. So just so you guys are clear, minor spoilers here for the show. Really quickly, we have the sneak peek, which isn't really a sneak peek anymore, guys. Remember when we used to get sneak peeks that were unique, and now they reuse the same music? They reuse the same design, kind of, you know. I mean, this is the thing. They still have to make all of these. So I feel bad hating on these sneak peeks because they still require a lot of effort. Like, I'm not an imbecile. I know that this still takes a lot of, you know, you can't just like plug this into a formula or a template, because you have to change all the text in the back. You have to record all of these scenes, right? You have to move the camera angle around. You have to, you know, you have to cut out you have to transparency the background when you're recording the character so that you can put her in scenes like this, because they don't record it with this, right? They record it with like a black scene. Anyways, so they got to do a bunch of stuff. I understand that these sneak peeks still take time and effort, but we used to get like actual sneak peeks, man. I know. Listen, I think there's a possibility that some of the old sneak peeks that we used to get that we felt were better because they were unique actually took less effort than these ones, and these ones take more effort. So I do feel bad slandering not the PvP. I'm PvPing right now. I do feel bad slandering the sneak peek team, but I think there's just something about the repetitive format or the repetitive formula that feels cheap. It feels like it's just a press, right? It's like a factory just churning out sneak peeks. Oh, this is the slideshow sneak peek. Oh, this is a slideshow sneak peek. And I know we still get some good sneak peeks. But I don't know. I know they just take some unused assets. You know, they they rotate the camera a little bit and they put the character in there, or they put some flames or whatever, and they don't even have the character in it or whatever. But I just feel like there's some really cool, unique things they could do with the sneak peeks. If they just had maybe a little bit more access to Marvel stuff. I don't know. I'll show you what I mean in a second here, and you tell me what you think. But yeah, again, you know, last time I'm going to warn you guys, spoilers for the TV show. So one of the reasons why I actually really want to watch Ironheart is because of the title card. And the title card for the first episode is this. So this damage, you know, she basically flies around in a makeshift suit. From what I understand from like the 10-second clip that I saw, and she basically like flies and crashes a bunch of times. Then at the very end, she bails out and she does like a mega crash, and she mega crashes across the screen as you see the word Ironheart, and then she fills in the A. And this is really creative. I really like this. This looks really cool. I like the idea. I like the symbolism. I think it's awesome. It's very thematic of the character as well. You know, she's not going to give up, etc. So this is really cool. This actually made me want to watch the show. At least, like, I would give the show at least one episode based only on this, because I like this. I like the cinematography. I like the look of it. If the rest of the show is like this, I will probably like the rest of the show, unless the acting is like terrible, the script is terrible, the music is terrible. But usually it's not all three from Marvel. Usually it's only like one or two of those is really, really bad. And I don't think the acting is going to be bad. So maybe the script and maybe the music, but I can probably stomach that. I mean, I watched the bank heist episode of Daredevil, so I think I can stomach pretty much anything at this point. Anyways, so I basically will watch the show at least one episode based on this. But for example, what if they had done the sneak peek like this? How much cooler would that have been, right? What if they had taken those clips, for example, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm talking out of my ass. I do a lot on this channel. But what if they took these clips of her like grinding up the mobs here, right here, right? You see how the ground is getting all like dug up? You see that? Right? Yeah. What if they took a bunch of these clips from different angles, and then at the end they did this? And then instead of having, maybe the A was missing, and then Ironheart like flies in at the end, which is what you have here, where she like, so it would be the background, right, that I just described, and then she would just fly in, and boom. See? And they did, like, wouldn't that be so much cooler than the slideshow, man? I don't know, bro. I don't know. What do I know? Anyways, the other reason why I'm excited, because of the fact that they basically are saying there's going to be at least one more sneak peek. Just a PSA, guys. I'm going to be away the weekend. I'm going to be away Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I will not be able to react if there's a sneak peek. I believe there's going to be a sneak peek on Sunday. I won't be able to make a video on it for Monday. So on Monday, when you queue up the video and it's not the Hood sneak peek or the Mephisto sneak peek, please don't get mad at me. I apologize in advance. But yeah, I'm going to be away from my computer, so I can't make a video on that. I'll probably make a reaction on Tuesday, but by Tuesday we will have the patch notes. Now, again, minor spoilers here, guys. The Hood is the main antagonist in this season of Ironheart. So basically, from what I understand of the show, it's that the Hood. So basically, the Hood is like, what if Constantine was more of a bad guy? He's basically like a gang member, gun-toting, you know, kind of dude. and then he has access to some like tech that gives him some like mystical powers, but not exactly. Like I think he has boots that help him fly and shit. But anyways, he's not satisfied with just that level of power, and he wants more power. So he dips into the occult, and you can see these like tattoos on his chest. I believe they start to radiate over to his face and stuff. And I think a lot of people believe, or I think maybe the lore in the show is going to be that he makes a deal with Mephisto. I'm not exactly sure. There's also, from the trailers that I've seen, there's also some indication that maybe Riri makes a deal with either Hood or Mephisto. I don't know. We don't know anyways. But there's just sort of like mixture and this combination of mysticism and other things, like mysticism and evil, or like mysticism and technology, whatever, mysticism and power. And that's obviously coming from presumably Mephisto, right? So that's basically those are basically the two options, I believe, for the show. I've looked at the not the script, but the cast, and I don't think there's really anybody else it could be other than Hood and Mephisto, or Hood and or Mephisto. So I'm actually very excited for both of these. I personally, here's my thinking. The Hood would have to be a brand new character. That probably takes more work than a new uniform. So I'm leaning towards it being Mephisto, even though if it's Mephisto, from an MCU point of view, it kind of spoils the surprise of the show, because they've tried to keep under wraps who the Mephisto actor is. They've tried to leave Mephisto out of any trailers or any promotional content. There's been like shadows and silhouettes and things, Easter eggs, whatever, throughout the first 3 episodes, but no like actual definitive they're on camera, right? They're on screen right now. So yeah, that's kind of weird. That kind of runs counter to what we've seen for the most part in MFF MCU updates, where they don't want to spoil things. Like if we look at, for example, we brought it up earlier in the video, Shuri. It took us a year, I think it was a year after the Wakanda Forever update that we got this uniform by itself. And the reason for that was they didn't want to spoil that Shuri becomes Black Panther in the movie. Now, I don't know if Marvel doesn't really care about spoiling that kind of stuff in the games anymore, or if they, I don't know. But that would be really good for us. And that's also why we often in the community, we reach out to devs and we're like, hey, can you guys wait? Can you guys wait until these shows have come out to then make an update on it? Because we actually want the update to reflect what's actually in the show, right? Because if we just get some bummy thing that doesn't actually reflect what happens in the show, it's not going to feel connected to the show. So thankfully, they waited in WandaVision so we could get imagine we had gotten a plain clothes Scarlet Witch. Imagine we had gotten like the pajamas, mommy. I mean, some of you would have liked that, but imagine we had gotten that version of Scarlet Witch from like episode 1, where she's giving the kids, she's giving young Wiccan and young whatever his name is, giving them cereal. That would have been boring as hell. I mean, it would have been kind of cool to see Vision in a suit, but same thing, right? We wouldn't have gotten this Vision. Again, this was like spoiler from like the last episode, the Ship of Theseus. But they waited until the show was out, and then it didn't matter anymore. It wasn't a spoiler because the show was out. Meanwhile, you have other, updates that we've gotten where they basically can't spoil anything, and so the character barely makes sense. I don't know. I can't remember for this one, but this one just sucked anyways. But that was the Marvels. That wasn't the TV show. I think that one was actually good. But you kind of get what I'm saying. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but I think there were some, I think like this one, for example, came out mid-show. There were a couple of other ones that came out like ahead of the show, and it's basically just, or ahead of the movie, and it basically just doesn't really feel like, it's just like whatever. It doesn't really hit home like the ones that come out afterwards, right? So, yeah. That's just kind of my take, but that's been the history. That's been like this is the worst example. This is by far the worst example. They could have waited a couple more months on Loki's uniform, and we could have gotten God of Stories. We should have gotten God of Stories. We should have God of Stories in the game right now, but we don't. And so maybe they're gonna make the same mistake this time around. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they're gonna release a no uniform version of Hood to not have any spoilers. And then they're going to release this, I can't remember this guy's name, it's Anthony Ramos or something like that. They're gonna release his, you know, his later. We want the best version of these things to happen in the game, and then once it's out, we can't really. Once the cat's out of the bag, you can't put it back in. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be Mephisto. It's possible it's Hood. It's possible it's neither, and it's something else. I don't know, but yeah, I'm actually pretty interested right now. I was much less interested when I thought it was just Riri, because that's just, you know, obvious at this point. But now that there's going to be at least one more, I'm a little bit more excited for what kind of surprises, because we just want surprises in the game at this point, man. We don't want everything predictable. We want surprises in the game. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching the video. Smash that button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.